Our next match versus Loud is going to be a do-or-die situation for us. Loud has always been a team that I've wanted to compete against. Even before we played our first game of 2024, I said I always want to play against Loud.
Can Sadak be the hero again for Loud? 4 rounds have been so hard to come by. This feels like a must. He's gotten it down to 1. No idea where Zeppa might be, and look at him buying his time. Sadak reads him. He gets his 3.
Próximo jogo contra G2, a gente tem que ganhar para se classificar nos playoffs. Vai ser um jogão, é um time excelente, um time com muita força, joga muito bem.
He gets the kill. Oh my gosh, what? My VR go home with a whimper.
É um time que estrategicamente sempre esteve muito bom. Quizás algumas coisas não encaixaram, mas agora realmente um time muito diferente que no Kickoff.
I just want to end split 1 with a positive note and some confidence from the boys. So win or lose, as long as we play our game and dig our heels deep into adapting and trying to win that match, I'll be happy with whatever happens.
Welcome back to VCT Americas. It's our final match of Stage 1, and the playoff hopes of 4 teams are riding on this one. It's the match that we all been looking forward to, G2 versus Loud, to determine what the playoff picture looks like. It don't get any better than this. I'm Golden Boy, that's Mimi. You got Baby Bay over there as well. Let's go ahead and dive right in. This is going to be an exciting one because it's great when you have like your end of season, but the last match has so many implications for the end of your first stage. It's going to be pretty sick.
Yeah, it matters for the teams playing in the server, but it also matters for Sentinels, NEG waiting in the wings. All these teams have a chance to still qualify for playoffs, which is wild, especially for Sen and EG. But for these two playing today, the implications are also huge.
Yeah, and this is such a good matchup because both teams, I feel like, have had the same problem all year long, all stage long, I should say that, because Loud actually looked great over in Madrid. Yeah. But this stage specifically, both teams have had a problem with their duelists. I mean, I'm going to just call it out. You know, it is what it is. Both teams have been struggling in that aspect.
Well, it turns out one of those duelists, I would say EG's duelist is going to get a nice invite, courtesy of the IGL of G2. You got Derek and Jogmo. Apparently an invite came through for them to be in the stands to cheer for them, because if G2 wins today, EG gets to join them in the playoffs. So G2 is not just playing for themselves, they're playing for that boy Jog and the rest of the EG lineup here, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
and I think they are in the studio.
Dinners on the line. I saw a tweet from Jonah P where he's like posting Jojumo's cat saying he's going to do it for them.
It's
things
just
like
great.
That. It makes this extra one so fun.
It's the warm-up routine.
Real.
The cat.
Could be okay, this has gone too far. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket now, because with that Cloud9 win, they have solidified themselves as the 2nd seed for the Alpha group, which means that they get themselves that top spot there, and they will await the Alpha 3rd seed. Meanwhile, you have the Omega 3rd seed, so a lot of implications are going to be coming into fruition for this one. And as we had mentioned before, Crew Leviathan, they win that matchup, match 3 and match 4. They win those, and they find themselves going to Shanghai, China. So it is going to be quite fascinating to see how this all breaks down here, but there's still things to explain.
Talk through it again.
Let's go ahead and do it again, because I know you guys didn't pay attention to me last time. Here we go. So let me go ahead and explain it one more again. We got this. If G2 wins, they're in. All right, we're good. Let's go ahead and show the graphic. It's better than showing my bald face. All right, here you go. They win, all right? And EG qualifies for the playoffs as well. Now, if Loud wins, they qualify, they eliminate EG. And if tiebreakers don't go in their favor, G2 could miss out, and Sentinels will take their slot. This is an important thing to note here, because if G2 gets a negative 13 round differential, there will be at least there will be a best of 1. Apologies for that. It's a lot of words, and I'm trying my best here, okay, between G2 and Sentinels to determine which team moves to the playoffs. So if you are a Sentinels fan, you are preying on the downfall of everyone.
Yes, and to break that down more, it's a 13-round differential, a negative 13-round differential, but that also relies on G2 losing 2-0, and it only becomes a differential if we see overtime. If there's no overtime in play, then it's as simple as G2 wins 13 rounds, it's a BO1. If G2 wins 12 or less rounds, Sen is in, and if they win 14 or more without that overtime in play, or win a map, then they eliminate eliminate Sentinels.
Yeah, basically, if you're G2 at this point, win a damn map. That's it.
Don't think about the rounds, make it simple.
Don't think about the rounds, win the map, boy. That's all you got to do. But for now, though, let's go ahead and talk about their opponents. You got Loud. Now, they had a difficult start to stage 1 here, but if there's one thing that we know about Loud and we know about our Colonel, Sadak, is that he is always going to have a plan, and this team has built that plan. They've given themselves an opportunity, a little bit of a runway here, and they looked pretty solid last week, got themselves a win.
Yeah, and he also gave a lot of the reins, he was saying, to the coaching staff.
For sure.
So they're helping out a little bit more now, and that's why you're seeing a more standard set of compositions across the board on the maps for them. And I think that at first it kind of looked shaky on it, but after their last match, like, I'm a believer again.
Yeah, I mean, I think they came into this year with kind of a read on the meta that didn't end up working out with the Phoenix comps, and they had to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
Into stage 1, and they've done such a good job at finding the right comps, the right identity, and also peaking in terms of their form at just the right moment, right? They came alive before the Sentinels match, win that one out, and now, I mean, it's back to old Loud. The mid-rounding has been on point. So many of those contact play rounds on their attacking side against Sentinels were incredible, especially on Lotus, and all these players have stepped it up, Cow and Xena and QCK especially.
Yeah, QCK definitely. I mean, we never even saw this guy running it down in spawn up until like the last match against Sen, which was such a breath of fresh air because, I mean, we all know he has the mechanical talent and prowess to do things
But he
like
just wasn't
this.
showing it in
on that team.
matches.
I felt like he just had like a collar on him, you know, and it kind of got taken off and they're like, oh, Raze go kill now. So I'm hoping we get to see more of that in this matchup. But, I mean, G2 will definitely be aware of that if they do their homework.
Yeah, and I think that win that Loud had certainly gives G2 a little bit of ammunition to get ready for this game. There's going to be a lot of things to pick apart from that, though. But for now, though, send it over to Elizabeth. Has QCK standing by for a quick word.
QCK, come on over, come on over. Hi, Loud. Hello. All right, kind of a two-parter. So, what have you done to feel unlocked from last match, or what has your team done to help you feel unlocked from last match?
A gente não fez nada em específico para se soltar dentro do servidor, a gente só tentou botar mais fogo, energia dentro do time e se juntar como literalmente uma família dentro do servidor e fora também, e acredito que isso deu resultado pra gente.
Yeah, we didn't do anything very specific. We were just trying to, put more fire while in the server, and also out of the server, act as a family, as a group that is very united.
Best of luck.
And QCK is certainly coming to his own in this stage and has looked pretty darn good in the process, continuing to build up his resume, if you will, with this Loud lineup. And I think that, really the more that this guy gets time with this team, the better it's going to be for them and better it's going to be for him as an individual player.
This Sentinels game was, in my opinion, the best we've seen from QCK. He wasn't the #1 player in the stats at the end of the game, but on Lotus and Icebox, on their attacking sides, he was getting so much value on this dive. They were doing a lot of these close contact plays into these late round pops on site, and it seemed like every time he was taking his opportunity, getting a pick, sometimes getting traded, but then also having these multi-kill rounds that were lacking from this guy for so long.
Yeah, it's nice seeing him actually be able to dash in or satchel in and, not have to play a Phoenix where, 9 times out of 10, you might even just get spammed trying to enter the choke. I would know from experience. That doesn't feel very good. Last time I played Phoenix was terrible.
To be fair, playing Phoenix
he made it
also
look good, by the way. He made the Phoenix work, and they did really good in Madrid. But yeah, he looked great in the last series against Sentinels, and hopefully he can bring it on into this one.
The story of Loud always seems to be peaking at the right time, right? Like finding their moment right before the big match, right before the big game, and popping off. And if they can keep that send form and win today, they're again looking like they're back to being a top dog headed towards playoffs.
Well, their opponents certainly do not want that to happen here. Let's go ahead, though, and move on to G2, shall we? Talk about what this team is going to be bringing to the table here today because, again, they're not just playing for themselves, they're also playing for EG, funny enough. Even saying that they were going to take out, Derek saying they were going to take out the G2 boys for a very, Nice. And emphasis on the very. If
And
a
there's
steak
the
isn't
cats.
involved. Oh, look at the cats. You got to do it for the kitties. Yeah, but, you know, I think that's a very interesting thing, though. That's a lot of pressure. You know, like you're doing, I mean, you're not worrying about EG too much in this situation, but knowing that that's over in the shadows,
What
though.
Valen said, this team, for a bunch of young guys, is so mature in their mentality,
Very true.
right? He's saying, we just want to play our game, show our best. This is still their first stage in Tier 1, in VCT Americas. So, honestly, I feel like they're in a position where I think they can do a good job to temper expectations and really just focus on playing for themselves. I don't think that's cope at all, what Valen said in that interview.
It's not at all. And just with more time, Icy will get more comfortable and he will become a star duelist. So, I mean, we're just waiting for that moment to really, truly unfold and happen.
But that's the big question, right? Like, how good is Icy going to be?
And there is a lot of pressure in this, too.
Guys, who's winning? That's what I want to know.
I mean, Loud.
You're going Loud?
I'm really, really
Loud
bullish.
2-0?
Yes, I'm bullish on Loud's form right now. I think they looked great in their match against Sentinels. They've gotten their comps in a good place. The mid-rounding's on point. Their individuals are peaking. I'm feeling it.
I'm going to go 2-1 G2. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble.
Whoa.
Sen is not going to make it to Shanghai, regardless of if Loud win or not. Because, I don't know, I feel like the IGLing from Valen is too good to only be able to get, 12 rounds for Sen to qualify?
I'm not talking about that. I don't know if that's happening.
This is it, guys. It's now time to see how the chips fall. Let's send it to the stage and bring out our teams.
Riot Games Arena. I want to hear some G2 fans and some EG fans make some noise for G2 Esports.
Called a newcomer. We've been up for several summers, seeking how to step in commas. If you with us, buy the bundle. Say you survive the bundle. Barely time to buy the bundle for this ton of errors rumble. Cause you know we titans in this game, ain't no contest. If we take it to the game, turn a wild west. We ain't faking what I claim, this a wild threat. No rook, we been a vet. Now check the mindset, by the name of G2. How to take over the world, how we come through. Just follow in the herd, we don't have to. Best forget about what you heard, probably ain't true.
A vida e a vaga nos playoffs. Faz barulho pra Loud!
Playoffs is up for grabs here. Whoever walks away with the dub is going to see their season continue. And whoever loses here today is going to have to wait a little bit longer to get back on that stage. The pressure is on for both Loud and G2.
It's the reigning Americas champions in the first stage of 2024, facing elimination in groups. Top 4 in Masters Madrid. And if they don't win here, the chances of going to Shanghai are 0. On the other side for G2, though, I mean, these guys coming up from Ascension had an okay start to their season, but have slowly picked it up through stage 1 and have a chance in their debut to make playoffs.
Yeah, it's such an even matchup, in my opinion, because both teams have the same problem going into these matches. It's always been, okay, QCK, he's not performing at the same level as Ospas. Same thing with Icy, he's not performing like even Leaf did on his own team, right? So this is something that's gonna be crucial in this matchup. Which duelist is gonna shine?
And we saw the maps come up there a moment ago. We're starting on Bind, then heading to Icebox. And that's kind of surprising to me because these are both the maps that G2 have been playing constantly. It's what they won 2-0 on in their last series. I've actually liked them on both these maps.
Yeah, and G2 were trolling a little bit in the beginning of the year. I don't want to say trolling, but they're experimenting, I should say, with weird comps. They were running a Yoru KO comp with a fade on bind. Recently in their last match, yeah, it wasn't against the strongest opponent, but they switched back to Icy on Raze and the Gecko in the sky. And if they keep bringing that to this match, I mean, it's a really good map, and historically has been a good map for G2.
One thing I've liked about Loud's bind is this kind of comp that they're playing with the KO and the Breach. Most teams have gone for like the double initiator with the Gecko.
Yeah.
But I actually like a lot of the ideas you can get with that Breach. There's a ton of setups and trap plays off of that stun. And you also gain the cross-map info of having that KO knife. I think KO is massively underrated on this map.
Yeah, it's also just really hard to make the KO work, and that's why it's not that popular. Yeah. But when it comes to a team like
Loud, they
just
implement it so well.
Exactly. When it comes to a team like Loud, who actually drill their systems, their defaults, they make it look really good. So yeah, it's something to definitely look out for if you're G2. But when you play a Breach on weird, wacky maps like this, where it's not common, sometimes it can be a dead giveaway of what your setups are. So if G2 prepare really well for this, they might have an inkling or some ideas of where these trap setups like to come, and maybe they can bait them out.
All right, here's the agent select, and you guys called for that Breach. It is going to be coming through here, as well as the KO, so you're getting that for Loud. But yeah, G2, they're going to be prepared, or they should be prepared.
The prep, the IGLing, that's all important. But I think the big thing most people are going to be focusing on in this map is QCK and Icy. Both these guys started off their year, started off their stage underperforming, and it's shown us some good moments. The last match for QCK was good. Icy had some better performances, but the big question is who steps up today when playoffs is on the line.
Yeah, and I think if you just go from experience, you would probably say that QCK is that guy that will outshine Icy here. But this is a big moment for Icy to prove why he was brought onto this G2 roster.
Well, it's now time to figure it all out. This match is going to decide the fate of our 4 teams. Let's find out which timeline we're in and send it over to your casters for this one. It's Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, GB. And what a way to close out a stage. It is a match laden with playoff implications. But there's a good chance that these two teams are also in the back of their minds while thinking about an international event. They're thinking about Shanghai, but for very different reasons, I suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. For Loud, this would be the first time since the inception of the team that they would not make an international event. They are on the cusp of that, which is so hard to believe when you're looking at the tenured IGL of Sadhawk Less, a player that is always in the conversation as minimum a top 5 player in the world. Plenty of people would argue at various times he's been the best player in the world. And for G2, it's been a long time since they've been to an international event, all the way back to Reykjavik 2 years ago, where they were the young upcoming team. And now they have a chance to finally make it back, find some redemption from what was a failed attempt all the way back then.
So for G2, 14 rounds. That's what they're looking for here. They'd love a dub, though, of course. It's Icy already in the showers, and the play off the flash is perfect. Trent's there with a 1-2 punch. Loud now just down to the 2 of them. They're going to make this adjustment over towards B, where Leaf lies in wait.
What a great pinch immediately from G2, and it's now Leaf to fend off these last 2 players on the site. Sadhawk is going to catch him, but now into that 1-on-3. Has recovered a Ghost. Going to have to hit a few headshots here. Trent and Icy are relatively low, and Valen with no armor, 1 headshot could take him down, but of course, this would be a miracle from him early on.
They got Util, though. Dizzy out first. Paint shell's also available, but not necessary. It's brass tacks for Valen. The Starduck takes 1 to the dome.
And one crucial element of that round is G2 immediately going for the crunch outside of Shower. That's going to weigh in the back of Loud's mind for the rest of this half, that could be pulled out again at any moment. So immediately, aside from just winning this round, obviously the big advantage of getting the pistol, they've immediately planted that seed in Loud's head that they're going to have to be weary of a play like this coming later.
The conditioning has already begun. Nice timing there, of course, through the TP, and a clean finish for G2. Loud, of course, mentioned that this team's developed a lot. I think we're going to be looking at Icy and continuing to follow his development, how he fits into the structure of this G2 roster. It's a great start, though, and he's got himself an outlaw.
And that outlaw could be quite pivotal moving forward here. Jonah P takes a lot of damage. 3 players facing up B long, and they want to accelerate off of that, but Leaf gets the first here.
Trailblazer does spot some action here. This will slow up Loud, and G2 might look to capitalize. Kawanzin already down. How is to a snake bite, of all things. Is he trying to get into hookah?
I got you.
For Loud now. Really little to work with. QCK working his way all the way up to an outlaw here. He needs to try and find some value there, and Lee managing to hold on against less.
QCK just gonna throw that one off the map, which honestly, pretty solid idea because two of his teammates did buy up sheriffs, so they would be in a poor economic position on this next round had they had the outlaw, given that if you have light armor, it's that one-shot kill, right? And so Loud could have found themselves in a situation where they would have had to forego some utility to get that full armor so they don't go down to the outlaw. So that's essentially why he did that. If you're, questioning why he opted to throw that off the map instead of getting some kills. And we'll see what they're going to be able to buy up now. Tons of SMGs in the hands of G2, the Stingers, which can be annoying to deal with in the little cubbies on this map. If they go for maybe a stack of a couple players playing a crossfire and hookah where the short-range guns thrive, that could be one way where they try to take advantage of this to win a bonus.
On the armor side of things, only Tui's who's only able to afford the half. Loud here for the most part, though, are geared to the gills. Again, looking towards B long. It's a really fertile ground to make use of that fault line. Knife here. Again, Loud, one of the few teams really leaning into that KO there. Spot nothing from that knife on hookah.
Yeah, it was that early knife that gets back hookah and Octagon as well. They've now cut noise and are just contacting up Kawanzin with a great first kill. And now G2, they've responded by putting two players into hookah, which I really like, trying to gain control of that side of the map, and hoping as well that if this split did come in onto B, those two players would be able to face that one lurk. Maybe two players going that way, but that isn't going to end up being the case. Actually goes down, trying to peek for a bit of information, and that was on Loud's rotate back to A.
Tough to make that Stinger sing at that kind of range. So Sanak spots at least one of the players that was sent into hookah after that first pick was found by Loud. Now, though, it looks like they want to land on A. Icy trending back towards the side here is the flash. Forced back behind the smoke. There's Kawanzin waiting for it. Icy and Valen to work with here. Pretty inauspicious bonus round from G2. Have to let this one go, though, if needs must. Now Valen in the smoke, very common. Cryo loves this particular play, for example. Will burst out and QCK silences him awfully quickly. Loud get on the board without too much of a fuss.
And a small little thing of note there, we saw Kawanzin watching the flank back from Market where he picked off whichever second player that was that had pushed all the way down from hookah, because neither team right now are running a Sentinel on Bind. And it's not too common these days. Sometimes you'll see the Cypher, like Moose likes to play that, which actually did against Loud the last time they played Bind. But playing Bind here and Icebox next, Loud aren't going to suffer from their lack of desire to play Sentinel that often can rear its head where they forego the Cypher in a meta where he's very strong. And it's just going to be about them watching the flanks like Kawanzin just did in that situation there.
Not like a breeze that might expose that a little bit more egregiously. Loud here on the group up towards A short. Standard Viper util deployed. Flashpoint as well to get them on the road. QCK now satchling over towards the side, goes over the top there, back U-Haul. Valen brought down. Nice little opening here from Loud. QCK brimming with confidence. Even when not playing well, he's always going in. Trent though finds a tight angle. And the plant interrupted for the time being here. Loud have to now find another option to get this one down. Guiding light from Jonah here to lead them out onto the site. Trent doubled up, and Icy also still playing from showers. That's somewhere that Loud have not cleared. It may rear its head in just a moment. Dizzy in, Sadak out, but the fire back from Loud is impressive. Just lead to work with now. It's a pretty darn good breeze to blow him into the right spot here. Down to 56 in a 1v3. And Let's will be waiting on that line to clean him up.
And just then, G2, you kind of have to question it. They were set up to go for that flood back into the front of A site. A bit of a, the pre-take if the spike was going down. But they didn't wait for that moment where someone was actually trying to plant. They forced the issue pretty early, so they ended up running into all of the players with their guns out. No one in that awkward forward default position trying to plant. So perhaps a little bit rushed. You could see what they wanted to do, but that timing just didn't really work out for it, and now they're relegated to this save. A few Sheriffs, a couple Stingers, and again, a pretty similar opening here for Loud. They really like doing this fast play up into B long with that stim beacon to get them the speed to get there.
And it can overload as well, that B long in terms of raw firepower. But Loud opt to pull out of that one. Smoke came down from G2 as they are very heavily stacked in the front side of that B side. Not that Loud are aware. This is ultimately going to lead them in ostensibly the correct direction.
And last time they exploded out of short quite quickly, and it looks like they're going to do the same here. QCK satcheling in, but this time they're not going to overpush, go into backside as they did on the last where QCK got that entry. They're just going to place those safe smokes at both sides of triple to get this plant in on default. They have the gun advantage. No need to play forward, take any unnecessary risks here.
Play lineup, Larry. No need to expose yourself to these short-range weapons in their optimal quarters. Smoke that came down basically on top of the A side here. Kalenzi will be forced out by the mosh pit. He acquiesces back in straight away. No, the Dizzy might make that a bit of an issue though. Sardak forced off the line. Another flash there for G2 as they try and set something up here inside of U-Haul. Kalenzi though is going to mow him down. Talon comes to the party a little bit too late. That's Loud with 3 on the trot.
And all of those kills from Loud, very important for the ult economy on their side right now. QCK was 1 away. He got his. Kalenzi 1 or 2 away, was able to get his as well. Sadhawk with the rolling thunder off that. And now they can just carry that momentum into this round. Leaf does have the Viper's Pit to play around if they intend on using that at a early part of the round. Oftentimes you'll see it over towards A. That's a more typical spot for it. On short, maybe sometimes to cut off shower, but short certainly the most frequent. But heading in here, they've got 4 players stacked up to B right now, G2, including Leaf, the man with that pit. Perhaps thinking about using it to shut down Hookah. We'll just have to see here. As it's Icy, the lone man on A, and he got spotted out by that KO knife, and he's just trying to keep that shower control while the rest of the team are set up here on B, expecting when that presence come to, if it did come rather, to have that Dizzy go over top, have the Sky pop a flash perhaps as well, but all for naught. It's an AX again from Loud, 3 in a row.
Icy here in showers, posted up there, but about run into less. Okay, QCK popped his head in. Tiles and masonry flying everywhere as the showstopper found its mark. Fallon, nice little pop there out of TP, but Tui's was there to trade. Into the back of the site, you'll notice QCK has gotten himself to Trent's going to use showers as a staging ground to unleash Thrash. QCK almost ahead of it, but going to get caught out. There's no one there to really follow it up though, as Trent is crossing the site, but nowhere near close enough. Oh! Rolling Thunder interrupted. Sardak had no opportunity to let go of that one, and Leaf is going to win out against Tui's. QCK, nothing to do here. Hold up in heaven. G2 get the defuse.
Really nice job from G2 to just force those Loud players into awkward positions where they couldn't help each other at all. I mean, even if that Thrash hadn't hit QCK, he was so far away from the action at that point, rotating to heaven. Wouldn't have really had a great angle. Maybe he could have fought those guys coming out of shower, but regardless, well done from Trent to have that idea that he might have been rotating there into backside and getting that really crucial stun. And even more crucial than that, all the ults depleted from Loud. All 3 of them used into that round for naught.
Viper's Pit here towards B long. So Loud do opt to take that early challenge, but won't find any challengers. QCK walks straight into that one, and Leaf is ready with his feet planted.
And that's a massive risk to push into a Viper's Pit like that.
That's QCK for you.
Yeah, but I mean, frankly, it's, I think, extremely tough when you don't have a Sky, you don't have the dog to go in there, you don't have a Gecko. Could use a wingman in a situation like that. Some of the teams that are running Fade, you'll have a Prowler for a situation like that. And with this Loud comp, getting through a Viper's Pit is just not gonna be easy. Sadhawk at least able to get 1 back, though.
Not bad. Something to work with here for Loud, at least. The Trent has the timing. Kalenzi is revealed by that little swing. And now we see the remainder of Loud split up. Tui's slowly making his way into Hookah now. And Sardak reposting up on the position that he knows G2 feel like they've just cleared. Often likes to do this.
30 seconds left.
Venom will give him an option, but far too good on the trigger finger.
Strike down A.
Tui's here, gonna think better of it. Time to pull the plug.
That last second orb going to be recovered there from Trent, just trying to get every little advantage that they possibly can.
It's going to be a quick thrash.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, that is one of the bonuses of having Gecko on your team, having the wingman. You're getting the plants, you're getting the diffuses. You can just stack orbs so quickly on that agent. Tuiz is one off that Brimstone ultimate. Was waiting to see if maybe he was able to take an engagement, and whether he lived or died, he would have been able to have that one up into this round. I mean, we all know how powerful that ultimate is in tandem with his Molotov on this map when you're playing in a post plant. That's basically your redeem a free round card when you use that on either side.
You guys are like all talking over one another.
Okay. Trouble in paradise, mayhaps. G2 here, a little bit chatty. But again, able to find those 2 rounds in a row. Not fully able to break the economy yet of Loud. Still a little haphazard, maybe. They're still essentially fighting at full strength.
And that flash sent in to be Fountain to get some information. Not always used as much as it used to be, given you're actually just straight up losing that flash. Now, Dog as well. So some utility extracted here. Significant utility extracted from Jonah P early on. And Loud didn't make as much noise on B that time, which is why he used it. On all the previous ones, they were stim beaconing, running up long super fast. And because they didn't do that this time, he felt the need to actually gain some information. This push out from G2 on the opposite side of the map is really nice. And now you can see as well, Valen, he's rotating through spawn, so they're gonna have 3 players ready on B. He's got the ultimate as well.
There's a late reflank brewing for G2. All right. Aftershock trying to create a bit of space here. An income Loud. Juicy K posting up on top of the shack. Jonah is going to wait inside this smoke. Playing just outside of elbow. Orbital strikes. Both thrown down here. Pummeling the ground and nothing else. Here's a ticket from Starduck. Not a stick. Fault line towards elbow.
Great
Timing is
stun.
great with the smoke coming down.
Wow.
Starduck is able to capitalize there. Now things look a little bit awkward for G2. All of a sudden, Let's Red to receive this reflank is going to be at least good for one here. But by no less, often it's more, not this time. Icy gets a foothold at the very least, but Valen calls a cancel.
Just gonna save these weapons at this point. What a stun, so cerebral from Sadhawk in that moment, understanding when their smoke was gonna drop. They even had another one coming down to cover up elbow again. That was such a little nice micro play. Yeah, absolutely beautiful from them. So heads up. It's gonna get them their 4th on the board now. Players very far away from ultimates on their side. Les had the pit up, didn't feel the need to use it in that situation. He was in that nice position in hookah, so he'll be carrying that one over to the next. And at this point, both teams, no one really scared about the status of the economy, so we're gonna have multiple full gun rounds back to back to back here. And look at that. I mean, again, just so intelligent from Sadhawk, the tenured IGL, the world champion IGL.
For those keeping track at home, and here, G2 obviously a third of the way to that threshold at magic number 12. They would need to exceed in total round count, even in a 2-0 loss to get themselves into playoffs. They need 14 to guarantee it. So well and truly on the way. This has been a competitive half of Vine so far. This time again, Loud do show up on B long. Orb comes down, and they're ready for it. The flash out, Valen follows it up. And now they'll fall back behind the wall here, but maybe leave a piece or two set up an octagon. Both flash initiators here. Jonah will dog to clear. Loud hear it come down, and they don't opt to refill that space again.
No, those players on A were just so passive that the duo of Cowanzine and Les were able to just contact up, get a lot of space now, get into this site. And Cowanzine has taken a really deep position here, back site.
So much util for the post plant for that KO. Didn't have to spend it getting in.
I'm waiting to see if anyone will be able to help him. Right, he does back up into lamps, a bit safer unless he's gonna put that pit down crucially.
And it comes down, Les unleashes it. Sadhawk here just waiting for the double swing out from Showers. Here comes Icy at the same time. Can they make a pincer happen? Nothing to see here with the showstopper, but still plenty of time to work with it. Les receives Leaf. He's trying to wrap around. Molly to the side now, already Loud with the post-plant architecture being set up. 3 versus 3, but it's time for Thresh to make an appearance. Kawazin gets there, Icy out of the picture. We did have a connection off that Thresh. Jonah P can't get up any further, and now it's Trent. 1 HP to work with. It's not nearly enough.
And I like how G2 were playing that. At this point, late in the half, they have such an understanding of what to do to nullify this default from Loud, where they're triple pushing up long early off that Stim Beacon. This was a great trap setup. Look at the swings from them, and they have that Sky Flash going at the same time the Dizzy ascends into the skies behind in elbow. And then you could see, because of that, the players on A, they're like, hands off, we're going to play full retake. We have the advantage.
With the mollies.
But Loud just play it perfectly around the Viper's pit. Crucially, Les had carried that over into this round from the last, where he didn't feel it was necessary to pop before. And now it gets them a really big round win. And G2, they're in a little bit of an awkward economical spot here. They're still going to be able to carry over a couple rifles into this round, but they're not going to be able to get up a full buy until the following.
It really only occurred as a soundbite in the background, but Thresh was used there. I think it just caught onto Kawazin inside U-Haul, and there was no ability to chase that up at all. Things started to fall apart. Josh RT rattling off some directives here for G2, who've lost the last couple of rounds in a row and don't have any ultimates to work with here. This might even be a plan for further down the line. Loud already putting on a show for us here. Winning 5 out of the last 7 rounds after dropping the pistol. They're back and they mean business.
Josh RT, the experienced coach who joined this squad last year, was crucial in bringing them all the way to Ascension, winning it, qualifying for the Partnership League. And we'll see now how G2 opt to play around this kind of early default that Loud have. Though there's a different layer in it now. Typically, Kawazin was playing towards A, knifing shower, but he's actually grouped up with the other 3 players here. We'll see if that means that they just want to go into a full hit, with Sadak being 1 away from the orb. He could get it here, pop that ultimate, and they can explode into the site off of it.
Playing fast ahead of a potential trap play, potentially. They, of course, have the ability to set up their own! Sadak!
Any help?
Crouch, tying his bloody shoelaces! But still Loud had the firepower and the weaponry to fight back. Could have been awkward, but G2 still gets staved off now. And VALORANT has to think twice about really challenging this. Icy bounds through, but Bambi gets cut down as Les is waiting.
For a moment there, I was nervous of the no help moment, but luckily the re-swings came just in time from Loud.
Just like we drew it up, baby.
And fortunately, G2, they also continue to fight in Octagon and take that space. I think they had an opportunity. If they just peeled off and went back in that situation, they might have been able to just escape with that full man advantage. And Loud again now. Another round. How many have they strung in a row? It feels like a whole bunch at this point.
This is their third, but it would be 6 out of the last 8.
They've really come alive on this half right now. Mixing in just small, little different pieces to how they're playing this default over on the B side.
Still that B pop, right?
Yeah, it was Kawazin involved in the mix, where typically it was just the 3 players previously. So just these small different layers being called by Sodhawk at the moment.
VALORANT gets his there, a bit of extra credits.
Ruin their day.
Maybe saving up to take Derek out to dinner for National Girlfriend Day.
It wouldn't be the first time.
It'd be the annual day.
It would be a testament to the bromance if he can take this down for EG with their hopes on the line here.
EG looking on, of course, want to see Loud lose this game to qualify for playoffs. That'll be the ultimate gift.
Their fate in the balance. Sen City's fate in the balance. And of course, Loud, their fate in their own hands right now. They need this victory.
Derek, I hope the stake was good, VALORANT, on Derek's dime. G2 here have a bit of ground to make up, though. Started well, but have lost control of this half of the last few rounds. This time Loud, another variation white. No early aggression here towards B long, but they are maintaining a presence here.
Now just working back a bit later, and you can see again, when Jonah P doesn't hear anything, he's going to use that utility. And with it gone now, Loud using that breach ultimate to scale into the site quickly. QCK all the way in the back already. G2 relegated to getting into retake positions here, but QCK so aggressive, so much confidence from this man. It's what Loud have needed for weeks, and in the past 2, he's really stepped up for the squad.
Yeah, just that element that's so hard to predict for any of Loud's opponents. That, though, looked a little bit more deterministic. Walking out the smoke, there was a molly at their feet.
One enemy remaining.
And G2 get burned to a crisp. Only Trent here. And Kawanzin wants to pursue. Blood in the water, Trent's giving him nothing.
Crucial for Trent to save the gun at this
I
point.
can hear the crowd keep running.
I mean, the economy is just cracked at this point. Oh, and
the jig is up, my friend.
Tui's heard those footsteps. Trent's on the angle, and he's gonna go down. Economy absolutely crushed for G2 heading into the next. And this is an elite Loud that we're watching right now against a G2 team that have impressed me so much this season. Thinking to back to the game against
Lev, right?
Lev, yeah. Despite losing, they took that icebox map, and their play on Lotus was just fantastic from G2. But frankly, looking at this map pool, this map kind of feels like a must-win for Loud because we are headed to Icebox and Lotus next. G2's 2 best maps. So Loud do need this one on the board. Kawanzin's actually picked up the operator here because their egregious display of 1% wealth. He can just hold down showers with that for a bit.
Can afford healthcare in America, it's sick. It's crazy.
I wish.
We can dream, my friend. Kawanzin, though, opts to make a switch of weaponry. He will be ambling his way towards showers. Knife did catch on to Valen there. So he does know there is some architecture lying in wait. And straight down A short. Less has been able to find himself here. So G2 don't know yet where the action is expected to be. And you can see the trend across there for Leaf.
Loud right now rotating back towards A, and I like from G2 they put both of their B players in hookah because Jonah, no utility left. They don't know what's happening in long anymore, so they want to hold down that section of the map. But Loud at this point, looks like they're going to be fully ignoring it, save for Sadhak, who might try to, you know, make a bit of a distraction perhaps with a utility, but seems to just be watching for the push out. And now this full execute is going to come in on the A side.
GCK dead, no double satchel, notably, doesn't get to the back of the site. Wants to play in front of these smokes. Q is brought down. That's Leaf in heaven, posing a little bit of an issue here for Loud. Sadhak, flashpoint. Oh, the little fake pick, and Les is going to be there to follow it up. Nice little 2-piece there, the 1-2 punch for Loud. And here's that flank. They happen a little late. QCK doesn't have a good way to employ that showstopper, so that'll go for naught. Valen's able to repost up in heaven, but it's about Trent and Jonah here. Making the way down short. Kawanzin sends a flash up there, but Valen's good for 2. Now it's on QCK. They've got a good idea that he's there. And what a crucial round to win before the half for G2.
Super well done from Valen at the end there. Just found the perfect timing on that spray down. One of the best fragging IGLs that we have here in Americas at the moment. And frankly,
we've got a lot of them.
We do, and on the opposite end, honestly, this has been a great individual season for Sadhak. I think he's stepped up on a number of crucial rounds for this team and maps where he's really displaying a higher level of mechanics than we've seen from him in the past. And of course, 2 of the best IGLs tactically here, going head-to-head as well.
And Sadhak was doing that, by the way, while also very involved on the coaching side. Like, he was frying before he sort of handed all that responsibility over, which is even more impressive. But there it is. We've got G2 finding their way back in. There are quite a few people interested in the result of this game, none more than perhaps EG. We're going to go down to Elizabeth with some very relevant individuals here in the outcome of this game.
Yes, and those relevant individuals are Derek, Giorgimo, and Foe of EG. You might think they're from G2 with the G2 merch that we are wearing, but no, they are from Evil Geniuses. We have Apoth and Nature waiting over there as well. We're going to talk to these 3 right now. We love you too. And they're also wearing G2 merch. They are a part of the team. I'm going to talk to you first. My favorite 6-foot king. Why do people laugh? When you're in a moment like this, when this is not in your hands, you have to literally sit here and watch this go down. Like, what is your anxiety level at right now?
It's worse than when I'm actually playing on the stage, but I have full confidence in my boys, you know, so.
Worse than playing on the stage. So like you just sitting here, like talking in the chat, it's worse than you like having to like think about everything on stage.
Yeah, because I have no control of how the game goes. But I mean, like I said, I feel like they're just warming up into it, and I feel like they're going to start rolling in some rounds.
All right. George, I'm going to come to you. Obviously, this is your stream. We're talking to your lovely people. You've been talked about a lot. You know, Lev, Akam said, you know, you're the last on his list. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm ready for my boy Corbin. Like, me and him lived together all last year, so like, you know, we just had that bond together. So playing against each other on stage is a whole different aspect. But he knows how I am during, like when I'm full focus. And yeah, my champ form is coming back. So Get ready, Corbin.
All right, get ready, Corbin. And really quickly to you, Fo, as the assistant coach, you've had to watch these kids play and just play their hearts out. Now you are here with them, sitting with them, watching the game. What is your anxiety level like?
About the same as it is backstage watching them every game.
And what is that?
Very high.
Very high.
It's higher than playing. It is. Derek's not wrong. It's harder. You're just watching it unfold, and you have to say to yourself, okay, well, whatever happens, happens.
All right, well, we're going to do some breathing exercises. We have a game to get back to, so casters, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I'm quite sure these teams looking on and their fate being decided are feeling it. But now on to the teams that do have an impact on the outcome, Wyatt. We're heading into our second half here on buy-in with G2 moving to the attack.
And right now, I'm just looking at the buy here. Loud, they've got ghosts across the board. And I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to Sadhak here, how they're going to be playing around the breach on the defensive side. Because there's a big difference in the initiators on both sides. The G2 running the Sky and the Gecko, things can be so much more fluid. Whereas with the breach, you have to be in particular spots to hit your flashes. And often same with KO. Of course, you can right-click to push somewhere close, but a lot of times you're going to be playing pop flashes for people at different angles as well. So I'm expecting to see some quality setups here from the Loud side, and it's something I'm going to be paying a close eye on as we head onto their defensive half here.
Cohen's in, get a little bit antsy. Little check there. Now actually able to post up watching A short. Decent spot, and there's also the counter swing opportunity as Les takes some non-irrelevant damage, rather, up B long. For G2, still have eyes elsewhere. They don't have that showers control, but Twiz might be looking to concede it here if things don't go right. Snake bite. Oh, and Leaf wins it out. That is massive for G2. Leaf can move on in, but the rest of G2 are already off to the races now, moving down short. Sadhak beats a hasty retreat. Aftershock to cover his tracks. He's going to set up across the site now as Trent gets his plant going.
30 seconds left.
And at the same time, going to recover that Dizzy to have it for just a bit later on. Could be a crucial piece of utility to explode back in while those Loud players are tapping the spike, trying to get the defuse.
They are absolutely ready for this. QCK wants to step up. Does have some utility here to try and draw something out, but actually wants to drive face Leaf. And he falls quickly. Still 4 to deal with on G2's side. The wall comes down, the show starts. There's Les trying to make something happen, but he was always very low after that engagement at the start of the round, and G2 get that crucial pistol.
This G2 squad, they are undeniably great. I mean, it's a small moment, but they played to their win con there. They played nice and passive. It was Trent getting that Dizzy backup line, the wall drop with it coming over so they could face that man advantage trade out if they needed to. So nicely done from them. QCK with a nice shot. He has been playing well.
Let's go. Keep it up. Anti-eco, we know what to do.
Yeah. Well, they definitely look like they know what to do. Solid round from G2 there. Loud want that showers control once more. This time, though, we brought back up. Leaf comes off second best.
Fortunately, this for G2, that was just the player with the ghost, and that stun is going to come in. B-Long with the nade. What a great timing. Icy can't win that duel, stunned up.
Oh, no chance to follow up, though. Sadhak full challenge that. Nobody could trade him. Same could be said for Les. At that point, QCK was on the wrong side of the wall, and Kalenzin's on the wrong side of that smoke. Forced now back in towards Tube.
Kalenzin has to be careful. He almost died to the dog.
QCK thinks about it. Come on. Look at your conscience, QCK. Punished for it. At his back turn as Trent exploded. And now it's Tui set up in hookah. With 3 players, 2 Bulldogs and a Ghost to contend with. He has nothing but a molly to his name. You're going to need that, buddy.
And really on this round, we got an appetizer of what's to come with this Loud comp on defense. One of the reasons you run that breach is because B-Long is really easy to control with the ball line. It gets all of long, as you just saw. So if you hit the right timing with that, and then additionally, maybe if you have a KO flash to come over, that raise nade we saw was really effective. There's going to be a lot of trap setups just like that from Loud. So G2 are going to have to be weary of walking into the traps, but also, importantly, for their attack site to succeed, baiting the traps out, getting the utility out, and then, you know, re-clearing those spaces if they intend to, or at least putting in an awkward position for Loud where they're denying some information that have to re-clear it themselves on defense.
Slow and steady, G2. make their way over towards Hookah. They're very cognizant of the trap play potential that Breach presents. But a thrash here towards B-Long might open this wide up. Sarnak doesn't know where to look. Icy gave him a clue, but he didn't have nearly enough time. Well, sometimes better to be lucky than good. But Les gets traded out by Icy, who finds his second, and they are all over this site like moss on a rock, Wyatt.
And Les feeling himself, wanted to go for a second as well. Could have slipped away into the smoke, but wanted to get the advantage for his team. And now it's resulted in a man disadvantage.
We are out of dodge.
They are getting out of there. The Thrash recovered as well. They know they really don't have a shot there. And that was a great response from G2. What a call from VALORANT, expecting a B-long trap setup like that. They used the Thrash to clear up there and just kind of focus their attention then on Hookah. If there was a trap setup, that Thrash would have pushed them back, and then they would have been swinging out of Hookah.
I mean, we saw from Sadhawk's POV.
And yeah, regardless of the trap setup not being there, Sadhawk was so caught off guard from that explosive hit from G2. Bonus round going to be converted, but again, at least for Loud's sake, they're going to have enough rifles into the next round, to get a reasonable buy up here. So it's not a pure bonus where you're giving all the guns away. G2's economy is going crazy because they recovered everything, though they did get a few rifles, but it's not as egregious as it could have been for Loud when you lose a bonus.
G2 are over halfway now to that 14-round threshold. See how this went down coming out of Hookah.
Sen is shaking right now. Let's keep it going.
These are tough times for the Sen City, Mitch. Tough times. G2 pushes up now with many players outside Hookah again. They're not going to go with the speed they did previously. A flash up long to get some information into Octagon, which Jonah did here with that ping when the bird goes off. And we have just basically the same setup here, right? Dog is going to get the info on long, and then the push is going to come through Hookah.
Okay, still a fault line from cross map. We're not really going to bother anyone. Icy is in. QCK affected here by a lot of the mollies, and is forced to play inside tube. It's easy for Icy. Sardak here. Flash, aftershock to try and create some space in Hookah, and he's done so. But G2 now entrenched up on this B site. 3 players back-to-back heading into elbow. They're going to overwhelm Les. He can't hope to challenge this. And G2 aren't done. They still want a piece of this action, and Les, well, not able to find any. 2is though elsewhere. Doing some serious work here. Sardak still inside Hookah. 2is coming through that spawn side. He's going to run straight into Trent's cross there, but the fault line is going to make it impossible. Setting up another for 2is. That 3, Icy can't hold on.
How do they recover that? Trent's spray just going awry. Most of the time, you have to think he's going to get 2 there. Such a skilled player, but
2's got 2 kills to elbow. He was back towards spawn. He's miles away. He actually trades up for less.
That is just ridiculous. Icy.
Look!
Oh, I mean, and again, that's a situation where I don't know. It's like, do they need to be facing that? They want to get that trade out. It's understandable, but 2's too accurate. He's one of the players that is just so smooth with the tap aim in situations like that. That's when you really see him thrive. He's a very smooth mechanical player.
And the fault line set up there as well.
That was so nice from Sadhawk.
Yeah. You talk about Breach being more set-up oriented and less fluid, but that was a moment.
Look at this. They just push all the way out of long Loud. They just explode past that brimstone smoke, but just suffer 1 loss for their troubles.
But the loss is great. That's QCK. Already out of the picture. Again, aggressive probes on both extremities in this round for Loud. They have a decent amount of info off this, at least.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely know that this is coming through short. They're just hoping to have this 3-pronged retake. Multiple angles at the same time. Some delay as well from the Brimstone for the flankers to get in better positions here.
They've done so, making their way. But Leaf is here, he's waiting for it. Can't complete any of those kills, but he's going to try and hold Sardak into his bay, but Sardak was still able to find a kill down towards short. VALORANT, though, responds. Trent here, fancies a bit of the 1 versus 1. No, Leafs joined him, in fact. Dangerous for 2is, hard to win out. Kalenzine spots 2, he knows there's 2 inside U-Haul. Or rather, just 1, and Jonah P on the other side of that wall. VALORANT wards him off with a spray. Les now wants to step up as looks like Kalenzine has gotten out. That's the plan for Loud. They're going to give this one up. They try for something cute on B-Long. it doesn't pay off.
Definitely best for them to save right now. They're actually going to be able to get a bye into the next round with 2 rifles being saved. So smart for them, and frankly, no other real options here heading into the next. Looking at some of the ults at the moment, you can see Trent is just 1 off from getting another Thrash online. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it's so easy to just stack up Gecko ult after Gecko ult. And now they wanted to try to bring a new little play into the fold there, something that G2 wouldn't have been expecting, but QCK is just not able to win out that first duel, and that's really all it comes down to. They wanted to catch out G2, and it just didn't pan out as intended, but listen, I respect the attempt. I respect the idea of going for something different there that they weren't expecting.
And we watched QCK. I mean, I don't particularly think that his playstyle has drastically changed at all. I think Andre points out on the desk, he's like, oh, maybe QCK playing differently, maybe less aggressive and now more so, or vice versa. I feel like, from what we've seen, QCK has always been that aggressor, first in, last out kind of player, but often just can't even get traded out. Sometimes just goes down on that entry scenario.
Yeah, oftentimes I feel like, I mean, last week aside, last week he stepped up massively for the team against
he won those
Sentinels.
duels.
Yeah, he was playing extremely aggressive. He was winning out his first engagements, crucially, because oftentimes he's just not winning the duels. Even when he's losing, he'll play with the confidence and take those early fights. On defense, he's going to take early fights when he's playing Jet, etc., and try and dash off, but he's just not actually getting the kills enough of the time. Now, that was the case against Sentinels, and they're going to need him to do it here again. And frankly, almost the same could be said for Icy. G2 have talked about how he's fit in terms of his play style into the team, but if his individual game gets elevated to the point where he's a star fragging duelist as well, not just one that's making the space, playing his role, I think that's what will take G2 to the next echelon.
It's Raze on Bind though. There's a lot of setup required to put them in a position to succeed. And that responsibility falls on the rest of the members of these teams. Comes in here, this does look like a late little shower knife. Just how deep are we? Okay, deep enough to spot the sky. Just Jonah being spotted right now. Kawanzina does want to get in, even behind the fault line being spent.
Fire in the hole!
Here's the showstopper though, Icy wasting no time. Dizzy at his flank. In we go, and he knew Kawanzina was operating near showers. Trent also not half a step behind, is able to find a second. Beautiful explosion from G2. And again, Loud are forced into a situation where they have no foothold outside of 2Es. And that one got extinguished awful quick, Wyatt.
Not even necessary at this point, but that wingman does give Trent the Thrash. Won't have to use it in this round, can save it for the next. Economy at this point now is shattered for Loud. Relegated to taking that Judge into the next, as well as the Vandal, and G2 firmly in control of the game at this point.
We're not talking about round thresholds anymore, Wyatt. We're talking about G2 just winning a map and going straight into playoffs, extinguishing the hopes of Sen City.
Absolutely right, and at this point it's beginning to feel like it's their game to lose, frankly, with the state of Loud's economy heading into this next round. And with that Thrash online as well, close to Jonah P's ult, they have the tools necessary to carry this game over the finish line. On their map pick, you would have expected them to be the team picking Icebox here. But no, they've went for Bind, which earlier in the season they lost 100 Thieves. They beat MIBR on it. Mixed results though, so it was a little surprising to see them take things here. But if they get this win, the rest of the map pool, Icebox and Lotus, those are definitively their 2 best maps of the season. And the task will be such an unmeasurable uphill climb for Loud if they can't win here on Bind.
In fairness, Loud have looked decent on those maps as well.
Monster on the loose!
Oh yeah, definitely G2's playground right there. Molly's gonna slow off the fast hit. 2Es wants to fill the space behind this. Oh! Jackpot! Finds Icy. Kawanzine also gonna be there. The fault line will dissuade any attempt to trade or follow up on those kills. 2Es doesn't have a comfortable spot to be. Oh my goodness, front and center! It's an easy pick off for Leaf. That's a 4v4 now. The Kawanzine catches Jonah P slipping. Just walking his way out of showers.
And this is just confidence, gusto from Loud. Could they have taken a safer chance perhaps and just bought better weapons in the next? Yeah, but they take a bunch of Guardians into this round, fight aggressively on short with the Stinger. They risked it on that round. That's a lot of confidence to go for that play. And it pays off massively for them. Now carrying all these Vandals into the next. Trent's thrash expended as well. And suddenly they turned the game on its head by just, again, taking a high-risk, high-reward play, committing to the buy on that round.
A variation we haven't seen yet from Loud on defense, actually expending utility to slow an inevitable hit. They're doing it again.
It's actually just going to be a contact walk down on short again. Mixing things up. They've been so varied in their defensive approach so far, keeping G2 on their toes.
They're rewarded for it too.
My ult's ready.
They're going to have such a fast flank on Hookah. Should it be relevant? What did the Seekers tell?
I mean, the Seekers tell that flank is coming, and it's got them scared, that's for sure. Pressure on less, though, as the players descend from Hookah. Oh my god, what a transfer. That is absurd from Loud star player.
And we flip the map. Loud coming from those flanking positions now, and no need to hurry at this stage. Leaf, though, just better than Kawanzin there. QCK and Tui's had to explode, but there's pressure from Octagon, and they're not ready for it.
QCK just had to try to make space here for Tui's. Trying to get out of Hookah on a retake is a painful, miserable experience.
Tui's now knows that without the Raze saturating, his options are limited. And his chance to save this weapon also a slim one at best. Winning out here against Jonah. Somehow making the correct estimate of his position and then running away is the only thing he can do. He's done it. So gun maintained. And off we go.
And it was those Seekers from Jonah that really threw off Loud's intentions there, taking advantage of the fact that G2 also not running a Sentinel, which is really common at this point for the bind meta. And that allows teams to be able to push down out of Hookah, push down out of short, flank through market, and not be exposed by, you know, back when there used to be that, I mean, way back when there was a chamber trip, for instance.
Let's go. Good job.
Or sometimes when that Cypher is on the map as well. But it was the Seekers that exposed that play fully, and then you could see a moment of hesitation from Loud. They weren't sure if they should turn back, keep going for the flank, and it's just that small, I mean, I say small piece of utility. It's an ultimate, and it's pretty good. And it gets them a ton of info. And now at this point, timeout going to be called from Loud as they're on death's door here. And a good time to take one for sure. Heading into this round, they've got 3 ultimates. They have Less's Viper's Pit, Kawanzin's Null Command, and Sadhawk's Rolling Thunder on the Breach. Additionally, it looks like they're trying to pick up the operator in the hands of QCK. This is not something that we have seen yet in the server from either team. Well, save for when Kawanzin bought one because he had so much money last half on the very last round, just for fun to open the round with.
What do we do? Post up on a forward angle here? It's got to be through showers, no?
Yeah, and it looks like that is going to be the move. Showers controlled for Loud over on the A side. Perhaps the Viper's Pit just going to go down early in Hookah to control that area of the map. You know, hoping to funnel some players into QCK's op. He picks it up a whole hell of a lot, and he's going to have to get a big kill here.
It won't just be QCK. Able to play off Kawanzin at least. G2 lined up for this, though. They are waiting for another contact push up from the defenders, and they've picked the right part of the map to anticipate it.
Wow, look at this aggression from him. It's a dangerous spot, pushed up too far where he could get traded out, couldn't get back behind the wall to satchel away or pick up another angle. G2 are going to accelerate off the back of that into the site.
This G2, man, that's something else. Here's the wingman getting on in. Trent having a fantastic map so far. Kawanzin, no chance to do too much to disrupt earlier on. Rolling Thunder, Trent hit by it. As he's icy, nothing he could do about the swing out of U-Haul. It's his ultimates now, getting thrown in by Loud. They know it's such an important round. Their economy is so shaky. And they've been able to secure it here.
Fantastic flood off that Rolling Thunder from Sadhawk. Icy caught in that. Another play I couldn't see which was caught close in the smokes, just trying to take a bit of a forward position to catch them off. That triple smoke they were hiding in. Really well done from Loud there. And now carrying into the next round, they've still saved so many ultimates, and frankly, the aggression got a little out of hand from QCK. The angle he was holding just a moment ago was fine. He wanted to take a little bit more space.
Gotta push up.
Push the issue just a bit, but it's to its demise. They recover the operator, though, give it back into his hands. And again, he's going to be headed towards Shower right now. Take a same line.
G2 just have not been in a hurry to take control of that part of the map. Do they expect it twice?
There was an early flash down short from Cow and Zine, which immediately gets re-cleared by Jonah P, sending a sky flash up, getting the ping, so they know that there was no one actually pushing down off the back of that KO.
They are doing it again. GCK holding it, holding it, holding it! Leaf is down. He's still caught in the corner though. We'll have to satchel across if he's brave. Doesn't know he needs to check the left, and VALORANT is going to be there. So it plays out just like it did in the prior round as a 1-for-1. Cowanzine though, the second layer of defense, this time can actually trade. G2 don't have a plan yet. Wingman was disrupted. Now they're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Tuyas won't see anything for the wall there. It's a brief attempt at a spray, nothing more. Jonah checks the flank. He will get some action. Cowanzine gonna swing. He has a knife out. Jonah can't recover in time, and G2 are down to 2 players. Playing off the back of the site. Icy's good for it. Sarnak is down. Now the 2v2, but Les has other plans. Trent holding on. It's Trent. Can he get there? Les comes in from the top row. Try as they might, G2 can't get another one there. They know if they win this map, they secure a 3rd place and a playoff spot in stage 1. They're close, they can taste it, but they've got to land the plane.
And Les is the man, of course, to lock things up for Loud. He has been the reliable player for this squad all year. I mean, all of last year as well. But this year has been the most tumultuous for the team. And he's the one stepping up. Now it's going to be a timeout called here from the coach of G2, Josh RT. He's been working with the squad for over a year now, since they began in Challengers last year, began that journey to making it into partnerships, the journey to try to make it back to an international LAN, which they had a taste of right at the beginning of this team's lifespan years ago at Reykjavik. They were this promised team of young upcoming players, and they couldn't live up to the pressure at that LAN. And they've been clawing and fighting for a way back there, staying together as a unit for years to do so. These players had tons of offers to go to other teams in partnerships last year, but they said no, they stuck together. They've made it all this way now, that core of Valen, Trent, and Jonah P.
And they stuck together as 5. Much longer than many other teams. They really, really waited on it. See text departs for
and now on the cusp of taking down one of the giants in VALORANT history. A well-timed timeout as well. You're always going to see this with timeouts, right? Where the next round there's going to be a hell of a lot of ultimates. Valen has been sitting for the past few rounds, excuse me, on that Brim ultimate. And with the Molly, that should be enough for them to lock up a 12th round here. You have to imagine.
It's going to be a pop here to be long. They're going to push the smoke even. Let's try to throw some shots in behind them. But that's devastating. Oh, it's devastating for G2.
Toxin screen down.
And that time it works out perfectly for Loud. They brought that one out earlier in the half. It didn't work as intended, but this time the swings more decisive, the trades there more aggressive. 2E's in trouble. Almost threw his life away, caught up by the Molly and the Dizzy, but Les picks up the angle, and it's just a weak Leaf left alone.
Here.
Take a weak breeze to blow that Leaf away. And Les puts 12 on the board for Loud.
What a call from Sadhak. Just G2, what are you guys scheming with this timeout right now? You got all these ults, you're gonna go for some big thing. All right, cool. We are just going to fearlessly run at you again. Absolutely, disrupt is the word. And Sadhak gets a 2-piece off of it. What a call, again, the confidence from these guys.
Bloody diabolical from Sadhak, if I'm honest with you. G2 had it all laid out, but guess what? You shot, you die.
They've got 4 ultimates in this last round. If they can't convert this and take this thing to OT, that would be a travesty.
Trent, a lot of eyes on him. He's had a great map. It's going to take more, though. Oh, no.
Great knife.
Instantly shuts the Thrash down. Leaf pulls out. Icy, though, onto the side with the showstopper. He still went for it in the end. Tui's keeping himself out of harm's way as the showstopper whizzes past his left ear. Sarnak finds Icy, but Valen is going to be there. Cowanzine punished by the orbital strike. It's going to be Sarnak eventually falling. Tui challenges inside Hookah. It's a 1-for-1. 2 Two players on either side left to go. QCK, showstopper, a little slow. And G2 straight through the TP, beeline for A.
Leaf right now. Oh my god, they could play this so well. Jonah can plant, get the Seekers. Leaf right now is the pit down. Huge advantage coming into the end. Really heads up. Small play from Jonah that's going to pay off massively. They know about this QCK flank now. He wanted to get in behind and shower. Made irrelevant by the Seekers.
His timing's off too. He's way behind Les.
There.
G2 are going to wait. Les pings it. Oh, okay, he gets into U-Haul. There was no pick up. Oh my god! Why did I do it? How did Loud do it?
Magic from QCK.
They're gas fishing! And they come up with Moby Dick!
That's just no way! How does he hit that? G2 crushed. They popped every ultimate in that last round. All 5 of them, even getting Jonas online at the very end. Absolutely crushing for them on their map pick.
Just shoot them, lol!
I mean, again, it's an FPS game. Just shoot them.
That is
oh my god.
Heartbreaking. And it's because GT don't have a chance to enact that ult-heavy strategy on the prior round because Sardak preempts it. It gets in their face. They rush down B long and throw G2 off. What a map. What a banger. Loud. Looking good.
G2 fall on their map pick of mine. But again, it has to be said, Icebox next. Loud's pick, but G2 beat Lev on it, have been sick on that map.
We're stepping away for a moment, but next, Golden Boy, the analysts are going to break down a ridiculous map 1 in this series. We'll see you in a sec.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.